let's start. First, here we have a model essay about nuclear energy. In part A, you're supposed to read the essay and the sentences and find the best place for each of them. As you see, all the sentences are written in lowercase in order not to give you a clue. And when you find the correct places for them, you should also find the ones which need to start with capital letters and write them in the correct form. Before you start, I'd like to give you some tips. For these kinds of activities, the important thing is understanding the logic of the essay and the grammatical connections from one sentence to another. Firstly, ideas in an essay are organized in a formula from general to specific, meaning that an idea is introduced with general details and then more specific details will follow. Secondly, pronouns also give you important clues. So when you see a word like it, they, this, or those, look for the sentence that contains the information that these pronouns refer to. And finally, linking words and phrases at the beginning of a sentence can also give you an idea about its connection to the surrounding sentences. If the linking words are and, so, therefore, or one similar to these, the previous sentence will share the same ideas. If they are a contrast word like but and however, then the sentence before it will have opposite ideas. As you see here, 4 sentences start with linkers, with thus, in addition, however, and although. So pay attention to these linkers because they will lead you to the correct place. Now pause the video and try. Okay, let's check your answers. A. As you see, the best sentence that fits in this gap is sentence 4. When you read the sentences before the gap, you can feel the narrowing down from general to specific, from some different types of energy sources like solar and wind to a specific one. The sentence says there is one energy source that should not be developed any further, and that one energy source is nuclear power. Also, sentence 4 leads us to the writer's opinion. When we read the following sentence, we can easily understand that the writer is against the nuclear power. So sentence 4 perfectly combines the ideas. For B, since the gap is one of the body paragraphs, the first thing to do is looking at the topic sentence of this paragraph because it tells us what is discussed in the paragraph. Here it gives us one negative aspect of nuclear energy, which is its high cost. As all the other sentences should support this idea, the best sentence for this gap should be also about the cost of it. So sentence 2, in addition, it costs a lot of money to build and operate nuclear power stations because of the great care that must be taken with safety, best fits into this paragraph. And also the linking word, in addition, indicates extra information about the same topic. Now C. The linking word, secondly, introduces a new paragraph, so it will be about another negative aspect of nuclear power. So sentence 3 indicates that this paragraph will be about the danger of nuclear energy, as it says nuclear materials do not meet safety requirements. And when we read the rest of the paragraph, we can easily understand that all the sentences are about how dangerous nuclear power is. For D, there should be another sentence about the danger of nuclear energy. So sentence 1 is the best sentence for this gap, as it is about one of the dangers of nuclear power. And the linking word thus indicates that sentence 1 is the result of the previous sentence. So as a result of being exposed to the high radioactivity of uranium, people who work with nuclear fuels are at great risk of cancer. And the final one, E. For this gap, we should find the best sentence that fits into the concluding paragraph. It can either restate the thesis statement or summarize the main ideas. As we see, sentence 5 explains the reasons why we shouldn't use nuclear power as a source of energy by summarizing the main points, because it's expensive and it's dangerous. In part B, you're supposed to read the essay again and circle the correct linking words or phrases written in bold. Now pause the video again and try. Okay, let's check them. Number 1 is because, as it explains the reasons why the writer believes that nuclear power is not a good source of energy. Number 2 is as. Here it means because, so it explains the reason why nuclear fuels will become even more expensive. Number 3 is furthermore, because with this sentence, the writer adds another idea which supports the topic of this paragraph, and the idea that nuclear power is dangerous as it leads to accidents. On the other hand, the linking word, in other words, is used to explain the previous sentence by using different words, but here there isn't an explanation for the previous sentence. And the final one, number 5, is all things considered, as it introduces the concluding paragraph. We can use the word finally to introduce our last body paragraph, but it's not suitable for a concluding paragraph. Now we have another model essay about euthanasia. Also for this essay, we have the same kinds of activities. Pause the video again, read the essay and the sentences in part A, then find the best place for each of them. Okay, let's check your answers. A. Here, the gap is in the first body paragraph. Since each body paragraph should express one major supporting idea, the first thing we should do is reading the rest of the paragraph and getting the main idea. So the main idea of this paragraph is people have the right to choose to die because of the difficulty of living on machines. Actually, here we have two similar sentences which have similar ideas. Sentence 1 and sentence 2. But sentence 1 is about the right of the families, not the right of the patients. And also, the following sentence begins with the words these patients. And these patients refer to some patients in sentence 2 who have no chance to recover. B, here we can follow the same steps. First, we should read the rest of the text and get the main idea. Here, the main idea is how expensive to live on machines is. So, sentence 3 perfectly fits into this gap, as it says medical costs are very high. And the final one is sentence 1, because the previous sentences say the medical care of the patients who are terminally ill or in an irreversible coma, in other words, who have a serious illness and will die soon or will be in coma forever, is an emotional and financial burden for their families. So in sentence 1, the writer suggests that those families should also have the right to decide to end their patients' lives when there's no other choice. Okay, now part B. Pause the video again and circle the correct linking words and phrases in the essay. Let's check them. Number 1 is although. When you read the sentence, you can easily realize that there are two opposite ideas. Many people feel that doctors must do everything possible to keep their patients alive, whereas the writer believes that euthanasia should be legal so that people can have the right to choose to die. So here, although reflects this contrast. And number 2 is such as, because we have noun clauses after it. But after, for example, there should be a sentence. And number 3 is according to, because it means as stated by. Here, as stated by an administrator. So the administrator states that the average cost of one-day hospital stay is around $5,000. But due to means because of, so it shows a result, therefore we can't use it here. Now we can go on with model essay 3. First, look at the topic. Has the internet caused people to be isolated from their real lives? What is your opinion? Before reading the essay, pause the video, brainstorm about the topic, and list your ideas into the box. Here are some examples. If you agree with the idea that the internet has caused people to be isolated from their real lives, you may say it's highly addictive. Some people prefer the virtual world. Or electronic communication is not as in-depth or reliable as communication in person or on the phone. The more time people spend online, the less time they spend interacting in real life. So it leads no interaction with friends, family, or people in the neighborhood. If you disagree, you may say that it's a powerful means of communication. You may also list supporting details and examples such as Facebook, Yahoo, long-distance messaging and calling. And you may think it expands social circles so that you can make friends easily. Or you may believe that it brings knowledge to people as it is a medium for instant news and information so that people can know more about society. And now here, in part C, you can see the opinion essay structure. Well, basically, it has 3 parts: the introductory paragraph, body paragraphs, and the concluding paragraph. So as you see, the first paragraph of the essay is the introductory paragraph. And it consists of background information and the thesis statement. Well, in order to give background information to the reader, there should be at least 2 sentences which include general statements about the topic, and these sentences should lead the reader from a general idea to a very specific one. And we call it narrowing down. After that, there should be a clear thesis statement, and thesis statement is the sentence that tells the main idea of the whole essay. It usually comes at or near the end of the introductory paragraph, and it should give the writer's opinion about the given topic. And it can't be a simple fact or a question. And then here we have the center of the essay, body paragraphs. These are the paragraphs that explain and support the thesis statement and come between the introduction and the conclusion. There must be at least 2 body paragraphs in an essay. So the third one is optional. Each body paragraph can start with a topic sentence, but it is optional as well. And they should express one major supporting idea, and this major supporting idea should be explained through minor supporting sentences, which include explanations, details, or examples. And adding a concluding sentence to these paragraphs is also optional. And the last paragraph is the concluding paragraph. It can either restate the thesis statement using different words, or it can summarize the ideas in the body paragraphs. It should also include the writer's opinion. However, it shouldn't be copied from the given topic or the thesis statement. So don't forget, it should be restated. Finally, it leaves the reader with the writer's final thoughts on the subject. There can be a warning, a prediction, or a suggestion. However, in this paragraph, there shouldn't be any new information. Okay, now let's analyze the first model essay about nuclear energy, considering the parts of an opinion essay. I have marked and matched the parts with colors so that you can see them easily. The first part is the background information part, as you see. Well, it gives general information about the topic. So it tells us the current situation of world's energy sources and why scientists and researchers are looking for some alternative power sources such as solar and wind energy. And it leads us to a very specific source of energy. It is nuclear energy, which is the topic of the essay. So you can obviously see the narrowing down. And then the thesis statement comes. As you see, it is at the end of the introductory paragraph, and it gives the writer's opinion and tells the main idea of the whole essay clearly. It is about nuclear energy, and the writer is against it. When we read the thesis statement, we can also have an idea about the organization of the essay because it introduces 2 subtopics. Nuclear energy is too expensive and it's not safe. So we can understand that there will be 2 body paragraphs, and the first body paragraph will be about its high costs, and the second one will be about its dangers. As you remember, topic sentence for the body paragraphs is optional, but here in this essay, there are topic sentences for each body paragraph. In pink parts, you can see minor supporting sentences that support these topics. And in the concluding paragraph, the writer summarizes the main ideas of the supporting paragraphs. I marked them with dark blue. And finally, the writer finishes the essay with final thoughts. Now it's practice time. In this part, you will see two different topics. The first one is, should medical research on animals be legal? And the second one is a nursing home a better place for the elderly? And what's your opinion? Please start by discussing these questions, and then you may follow the steps. The first step is brainstorming. You're supposed to generate ideas and list the positive and negative effects of these topics. The words and phrases banks, which include frequently used words and phrases in these contexts, will help you. Then, in the second step, you should organize your ideas by identifying at least two major supporting ideas as it is shown in the examples. Then think about how you can support them and write the related ideas under the headings. This will be like an outline of your essay. And finally, in the last step, you're supposed to write an opinion essay about these topics and send them to your class instructors via email. Okay, that's all for this week. Thanks for watching. Have a nice weekend.